one of the things I worry most about is all of these systems create space between humans and dictate that there's less face-to-face communication. And so, for example, the rise of the virtual community was celebrated, but it actually meant that people were isolated from one another. They had this notion of a virtual community. And virtual communities turned out to be, in some ways, very damaging things. They weren't perfect, extensions. People could be very brutal to each other. They weren't a solution to the decline of community in American society in any real way. So I worry about the increasing atomization, isolation of people in this new electronic society. Perhaps we'll reach these systems where that I've been talking about, ubiquitous computing, Internet of Things, where the technology will disappear and we could go back to a true face-to-face relationship. That would be the best outcome. I still think that's possible, but I see some worrisome things happening. For example, you go to China, Microsoft was doing an experiment there called Xiao Ice. So most internet avatars like Siri and Google's Voice and Alexa, they're designed just for one function. They're designed to get something done. You ask it to do something. If it understands you, it does it. Xiao Ice in China was designed to engage a relatively young group of users in an extended conversation. And what they found was that people would have these extended conversations that they began to refer to it as toilet time. They'd go into the bathroom and they'd be on their phone texting to their things. And 25% of the people who interacted with this system typed "I love you" to it. 50% typed "thank you." So this is this possibility of anthropomorphizing the machines that we interact with. Which I think could be, the movie Her, which was a science fiction movie in America several years ago, was very profound. I think in many ways more profound than a lot of the Terminator movies. This is the real future. And I'm not sure that, I'm mixed. For example, what if we don't have enough caregivers to go around? I think that there's rich evidence that if you take an aging human who's in danger of dementia and you keep them engaged in a human community, that pushes back dementia. Okay, in America, we tend to park our aged in these institutions and put them in front of television sets. And that's terrible. So what if you could build a software robot that would be as smart as the smartest conversationalist you could imagine? It's not a real human, but we're not that far away from it, and it could continue to interact with a human being. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm very torn about it. If it means that the family can dump the elder and don't have to deal with them, then I think that's terrible. If it allows the elder to survive better than watching television and having a fuller life, then maybe it's okay. And it's once again, it's a question of human design, I think. That's one of probably 100 things like that are sort of, changes that we won't notice until they've happened and transformed our society.